Hey folks, thanks for checking into the Neutral Zone Hotel. We are a unapologetically left-leaning podcast that explores hockey at its best and worst. I'm Benjamin, my pronouns are he, him. I'm a Montreal Canadiens and an Ottawa Charge fan. I'm thrilled to welcome you to the Neutral Zone Hotel. Here with me to ensure your stay is memorable are a few of my colleagues. I've got SJ with me.
Hi, I am SJ. I was not paying attention when you prompted me. I am a Seattle Kraken and Everett Silvertips fan living in the beautiful city of Seattle.
And also Trevor's here today.
Hey everybody, it's Trevor. My pronouns are he, him. The hometown Abbotsford Canucks fan. Because let's be honest, if I'm watching Vancouver, it's basically just Abbotsford at this point. Plus, at least one of these teams can put together a 13-game win streak and not disappoint me.
Is Quinn Hughes healthy right now?
Well, he's going to be. He's got lots of time to get there.
He's played 30 minutes a night for like the last 3 games, and I'm pretty sure he's held on by spit and prayers.
Oh, duct taped together.
Pretty much. The red-green special.
And folks, thank you for joining the Neutral Zone Hotel, a podcast about hockey that will not force a Canadian federal election debate to change its start time. You didn't hear about this, Trevor? Yeah, they had to change the French debate.
You know, I saw about it. I saw about it. I knew that's where you were going with this. It's funny and so perfect. I love that so much.
The assumption is that everyone in Quebec will be watching the Habs game, SJ, so they moved the Francophone debate. It's very funny, very Canadian.
I'm pretty sure it's not an assumption.
Funny.
I think that's just reality.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they're wrong. So we've got a couple topics here to chat about, and we're going to start off with the PWHL draft. So the PWHL draft has now announced that their second entry draft. I don't know how to differentiate. There was the first draft, which wasn't really an entry draft.
There was an entry draft because there was the signing
but it wasn't.
Period.
You were drafting a lot of people.
It was an entry draft. It was an entry draft.
We'll call it a 0.5.
It was like 0 indexed.
Yeah.
But
anyway, the 2020...
It was still an entry draft.
Sure. The 2025 PWHL draft presented by Upper Deck will take place on Tuesday, June 24th at 7 p.m. ET at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Ottawa. So, firstly, the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino doesn't quite exist yet. It's the former race course casino that's being rebuilt and revamped and has been for about a year and a half. This will be the first event being held at their new events center. So that's kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm. I hope that they manage to air out the building before so that they don't all die on the fumes of the new paint, but...
It says here that the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino is the exclusive brick-and-mortar casino partner of the Ottawa Charge, which means apparently Ottawa has a non-brick-and-mortar casino partner.
I'm sure it's one of those, betting sites that somehow also has an online casino, but neat. And I'm assuming you're going to wangle your way in there?
Well, I've applied for tickets, so there's, a wait or something. So I've applied for tickets. We'll see how much they want to charge, but...
You can't get an in from your close personal friends like Emma and Smashmeyer?
I mean, she's too busy rehabbing, I think, to help out.
That's true.
No, I expect that they will have enough space to welcome quite a few fans. So I'm not terribly concerned.
Who's on your wish list this year?
That's a great question.
Yeah, because part of you maybe it's maybe first overall, but that means they missed the playoffs. And quite frankly, I would hope that you want a later pick because that means you did make the playoffs as a Charge fan.
There's a few things that come into play here. So first is New York is still the most likely to be eliminated first and the most likely to garner points under the gold plan.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is there still hasn't been an announcement of expansion, which, of course, SJ has been complaining about for 2 weeks now. But that's okay, because I
For
get
good
it.
reason.
Yep. That's all
You know,
I complain about now. Work, and why hasn't the PWHL announced expansion yet? I was told this was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago.
Everybody was. It's a big thing. So I think Ottawa needs goal scoring more than anything else at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to depend on if Abby Murphy declares. So let's assume Ottawa slips into the playoffs fourth. That means they're going to get the third, and there's no expansion concerns. Mm. That means they're going to get the third overall pick. If Abby Murphy declares, I think she's the consensus number one pick. New York's very much going to want her.
Yep.
If she doesn't, it'll probably be Casey O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, Nicole Gosling is on the list, and Haley Wynn is also on the U.S. national team. The player I would really like to see drop to Ottawa is Kristina Kaltunkova, who was a finalist for the Patty Caz. She had 26 goals for Colgate last year. That's the type of player I think Ottawa could very much use as a middle six scoring forward.
Nice.
Interesting.
And I'm based off the last name, I'm gonna presume Czech.
I mean, I have to think so.
Yeah. So it also kind of fits with the nice little collection that Ottawa's been building together.
Czech connection, yeah.
Interesting.
It'll be really interesting. Haley Wynn is very... She was like a super offensive defender. She stacked up a bunch of points for Clarkson. So there's a possibility she goes second.
Over Carolyn Harvey?
Over Carolyn Harvey.
Interesting.
Yep. So it's really interesting. But I do think Abby Murphy has the ability to clear the field and bump everyone down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can somebody explain what the problem is with why Abby Murphy wouldn't declare? Hasn't she already played like 5 years?
She still has the additional season from the COVID delays that she can return to Minnesota for. So,
oh my goodness.
If she wants to play one more year, she can. It's up to her.
She is 23 already.
I mean, look.
Like, at that point, you're just wasting your prime in the NCAA. I don't. Is she getting? Is she getting? You know, the thing where you get paid to play in college.
Yeah. I don't know.
NIL money.
Right.
I haven't heard that someone has given her an NIL contract.
I'm just very curious how this works out financially for some of them.
Maybe she just likes, doing beer shots and
going to college for 6 years.
She's like Ryan Reynolds in that movie Van Wilder. Maybe she's just like in charge of parties and stuff.
She's got to be like working on a post-secondary degree, right?
Maybe. Anyway, it'll be interesting. There's definitely like a pretty clear top 4 or 5, depending on Abby Murphy. But I think everyone is walking out of there with a really good first-round player, unless there's 8 picks in the first round. So my question for you is, since we have no official announcement on expansion, but if there were to be 2 expansion teams starting in the fall, what would you do around expansion for them? Given how much the league has vaunted the gold plan as kind of a better way to pick draft position, where do you put the expansion teams?
I think that if they are truly dedicated to the gold plan, I would give them the 3rd and 4th pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would give them slightly more generous expansion rules.
I could see that. Yeah, I would also give them 3-4 in the first round, but maybe then also give them the 1st and 2nd picks in the subsequent rounds.
Oh, I could see that.
Because obviously the cream of the crop is going to be that first round. And if you want to push the gold plant, you want to make sure that's for a reason. You want to give them the best of those players. But after that, when it kind of starts to fall down a bit, then you can kind of give them the little nudge to make them a little more competitive through the later rounds of the draft. I could see them doing that.
I could see that as well.
I think that's probably closer to the reality.
Yeah, I am also very in favor of giving them fairly generous expansion rules. So I don't think it's in the league's best interest to saddle themselves with 2 teams that are going to suck for 5 years.
No.
So I think they will do something at least to make them competitive right away. And they're also going to have a lot to pick from as far as free agents, since free agency is, pretty. You get to free agency pretty fast in the PWHL.
Yeah, it's only 2 years where a team has your rights protected.
Mm-hmm.
So there are definitely options there. And basically the only free agent who's off the board will be Sarah Fillier. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if New York exposes one of their foundational players so they can afford to pay Sarah Fillier what she wants.
Yeah, I would not be surprised that at all. And at the end of the day, the expansion teams are going to have to make the money work, and they're still saddled with a low, with that, $50,000 or whatever cap average.
So for next year,
average.
The salary average has to be $58,349.50.
Yeah.
So obviously not easy.
No.
But I think that the only team that would make a foundational signing available would be New York.
Who are their foundational players again? It was Carpenter, it was Rock, and who was the third?
I don't think it was Rock.
It wasn't Rock. No.
Oh, wow.
No.
Kind of just goes to show how little I pay attention to New York, unfortunately. They're just kind of that team. Was it maybe Shelton then? Was she one of them?
It's Carpenter. No, it was Carpenter, Rock, and Micah Zandy Hart.
Oh, yeah, of course, Zandy Hart. Yeah,
They
Wait.
drafted Shelton with their first pick.
It was Rock?
Yep.
Boom. Swish.
Oh, well, that's easy. Make her available.
She did not have what I would call a great year.
Nope.
Yeah.
Carpenter is like the one of the three who's been obviously the best and works well with Fillier. Zandy Hart's had a better year than she did the first year, but yeah, Rock's kind of.
I'm surprised it wasn't a goalie.
Yeah, they drafted Schroeder.
Were they? I think they might have been the only one to not have a goalie on there.
Did Minnesota have a goalie?
Oh, good point. Who was
I don't remember.
Minnesota's was Coyne Schofield. Oh man, who was Minnesota's now?
I'm just taking a look. It was Hensley and Rooney. They drafted Hensley. Soupy got drafted by Toronto.
Okay, they wouldn't have had one.
Schroeder went in the 6th round to New York.
Wow.
New York went a long time. New York went a long time without picking a goaltender.
I think time. I feel like pretty much everyone else had already kind of signed their top goalie.
Yeah.
In free agency, so I see why they got away with it.
And I mean, you can maybe use that as like, well, that's why they're last. Except the fact that Corinne Schroeder has been really good. It's everyone else on the team who can't really help.
Yeah.
Everyone outside the top line.
I was really surprised Schroeder didn't get to take Mashmeyer's spot on Team Canada this year. I found that to be very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, a lot of it will depend on expansion. So speaking of, we've been talking about if we could come up with a way to do an expansion draft just for funsies, since the rules are completely unknown. I've been workshopping some rules, and we're looking for people to GM 5 of the 6 teams, because I've kind of sort of claimed Ottawa for me. So reach out if you're interested. Just hit us up on Discord, neutralzonehotel.com/Discord. Or if you're someone on Bluesky, you can DM our Bluesky handle at neutralzonehotel.bsky.social. I think is what they are. But you know what it is, at Neutral Zone Hotel. We would love a chance to work with you and maybe have you on to represent your favorite PWHL team. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Anything else anybody wants to...
Everyone loves a mock draft.
Mock drafts are fun.
They are.
Plus, I think we've got a really interesting and good rule set that closely approximates where they might go. Definitely no one's protecting, 18 players. So I think I've listed it as like 8 skaters and a goalie or something like that. So pretty generous considering there's 2 teams. They'll obviously get their 7 draft picks. They're going to get some free agent signings. But yeah, I think a lot of it is going to be who can we get? Where can we find value on the various teams? So I'm really excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the PWHL draft?
Can't wait. Excited?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too.
I'm more excited about an expansion announcement.
Well, hey, maybe that'll actually happen between now and then, which is kind of why I want to get this expansion draft thing done quickly, because if they announce rules with the actual expansion...
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, dear listener.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hey, folks, we're back. And, we really appreciate it. If you're listening on whatever podcast platform you're listening on, give us a thumbs up or 5 stars. If you're on YouTube, thumbs up, smash the like button. Check us out on social media at Neutral Zone Hotel for Bluesky and Instagram. If you see us post that we've got a new episode up, repost it. Help spread the love. And come hang out with us, neutralzonehotel.com/Discord for our permanent link to join the Discord. So, with the NHL season coming to an end, I definitely don't want to talk about the Habs too much because I already cursed them for 1 week. And hopefully that curse doesn't stick. But it is the time of year where every hockey writer writes a really crappy article comparing the Leafs to Rory McIlroy at the Masters. Oh, wait, no, that's just Chris Johnson from The Athletic. I'm sorry. No, we're going to talk about NHL awards, folks. So I've challenged my coworkers here at the hotel to come up with an award themselves, at least one. But we'll start off by talking about the actual NHL awards and who we think might win. So we'll start with the heart. Who do we think the sports writers are going to pick as the player most valuable to their team?
Who do I think?
Yeah,
I think they're probably going to say Leon Draisaitl. Who should it be is another story.
Who do you think it should be? Tell me both. I don't care.
The same person who I thought should have got it last year, Nikita Kucherov.
Cooch. Okay. SJ, what do you think?
I think it's either going to be Draisaitl or McKinnon this year. I personally am rooting for Draisaitl because Draisaitl is my favorite player, but I also believe McKinnon is very deserving.
I think Nate has definitely been an incredible engine, and Draisaitl. I mean, McDavid's been very good. He's been great. It's just it's one of the years where maybe he's not quite as generational as.
Well, I think
Draisaitl.
McDavid's been hurt all season.
Yep.
That has, and I think Draisaitl really suffers from being like kind of the second best player on his own team problem. But the thing is that like when McDavid is not available or he is playing not quite as well because of injury, like Draisaitl, it becomes the most valuable player, and you can see he elevates, and it becomes very, very obvious that he absolutely can carry an entire team on his shoulders, and he will. I don't think that the Edmonton Oilers would have had such a, like, they didn't have a great year because of the injury situation that they've been under. But they have handily made it into the playoffs because Draisaitl was just out of this world this year.
Mm-hmm. Scoring is down league-wide, and I think that really hurts the Oilers, given that they're such a high-scoring team. McDavid obviously is part of that, but it's not just him. Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, Bouchard, none of them are putting in points like they did last year. The only person who is Draisaitl.
Yeah. Why do you think scoring is down league-wide?
They're calling less penalties.
Really?
So,
yeah.
You say that no one else is scoring, but if you go based off of like the league points right now, McDavid's still tied for fifth.
No,
being in third.
No one else in the Oilers is scoring at the same rate as they scored last year. That's what I said.
Okay. Sorry. I think.
Yeah, the Oilers, their regular guys have just been complete no-shows this year.
Well, not complete no-shows, but last year everyone was putting in career performances. And this year, they're not. That's the difference. Except for Draisaitl.
Yeah, Draisaitl's scoring at a ridiculous rate. Yep. Like, he's got the same amount of points as he did last year, and he's missed, like, 10 games.
Yeah, also, he's running away with the Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, which ultimately I think Draisaitl is going to be the Hart winner. I don't think he should be. I think this year, it should go to Connor Hellebuyck.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. That is a good call.
I mean, Hellebuck's going to get the Vezina. I don't know, but maybe.
It's also time that we remembered that there are other positions other than forwards for the Hart Trophy.
So, here's why I think Hellebuyck should get it. So, again, it kind of comes down to the wording. It's not the best player in the league. It is the player most valuable to his team. And Connor Hellebuyck is currently just a shade below 50 goals saved above expected in 62 games, which is a huge, huge advantage for the Jets to have. The next closest goaltender is barely under 30. There are two goaltenders in 29 point something, according to the Twins. And I bet you can't guess who those two goaltenders are.
Sorry, which stat are we looking for?
Goals saved above expected. Cumulative.
You know what? Gut feeling. Is one of them Lucas Dostal?
It is not.
Damn it.
He's 12th.
Is there a number of games played cutoff?
No, but I'll tell you that the two guys next, one has 50 games and one has 61 games.
Okay, so goals saved above expected. Dustin Wolf?
Nope. He's 6th.
Vasilevsky?
4th.
I'm getting closer.
Logan Thompson?
Is it?
No.
Okay.
No, he really fell off in the second half of the year.
Yeah. Sure. He's still 8th, according to the Twins.
Well, Benjamin was right. We're definitely not.
Blackwood?
No. It's Sam Montembeault at 3rd and Darcy Kemper at 2nd.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Darcy Kemper has had a really good year.
He's had a good year.
He has had a really good year.
So I think it should be Hellebuyck.
That Kemper for PLD trade, best trade of the offseason for both teams, yes, no?
I think it's got to be. Both sides got what they want.
Both sides got exactly what they needed.
I still want to fight for Kucherov in this regard, just Because as worded, when we say the most valuable, we talk about Draisaitl, and he's on this high tier, and that's great. But he's also got McDavid, who's maybe not performing this year, but
But-
is still that. McKinnon, incredible player, but he's still got Makar, who's just about on the same tier. Kucherov has who?
He still has Point. He still has Vasilevsky. He has
Hedman?
Gensel. He still has Gensel.
Point.
Yes, exactly.
Tier below. Gensel.
No.
Tier below that. Yeah, 100%. This guy got Brandon Hagel to 90 points this year.
Brandon Hagel is an incredibly good player. There's a reason they decided to pay 2 firsts for him. Like,
yeah, I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm just saying this is a guy who
the Lightning
before
are
last year capped out at 64 points career high. Like, this guy is making everyone around him so much better this year.
And you can absolutely make that argument for McKinnon and Draisaitl as well.
We just pointed out, though, that Draisaitl isn't because Edmonton's fallen off a cliff. You can maybe make that argument for McKinnon. I'll listen to that argument, but McKinnon also had his last year when Kucherov probably also should have had it. You remember last year when we did awards talk, every single one of us said Kucherov should have had it.
I don't think that they need to take turns. It's a year out of a year award. Even if we think Kucherov should have gotten it that last year, that doesn't mean he automatically gets it this year.
No, and you're right.
Just
he
because
shouldn't,
he had
but
another
he
good
still
season.
deserves it more than McKinnon does.
Okay, well, I don't think we're going to solve this, so I would like to introduce my first award that should exist.
Ooh.
It's called the Marcel Dion Award, named after the forward who once tied Gretzky in points but did not win there at Ross. Hockey Hall of Famer, 1,700 points. Somehow, through his career of 22 years, only ever played 49 playoff games. The Marcel Dion Award is awarded to the NHL player on a non-playoff team judged to be most valuable to the franchise.
I had the same idea, while you were doing the intro.
Okay, well, I'm glad I stole your idea.
Well, I mean, great minds can think alike, but I'm just saying
but what
that
about
I
us?
think
We're not great.
it was a good. Wow. It's a good idea for an award. They should make it a real one.
Yeah. No one's thought about this, so just gut feel. Maybe give me a name or two you think should be on this list.
How biased am I allowed to be?
Incredibly biased.
I think Quinn Hughes is an obvious one.
Yep.
100% the correct choice here.
I would almost certainly give it to Quinn Hughes. Let me take a quick look just to see if there's anybody else who jumps off the page.
Quinn Hughes was probably on pace to get Hart votes this year until he had to miss about a dozen games to
He was.
So the other two names that I think would get votes, David Pastrnak, 104 points.
Oh, that's
100%.
And a little guy named Sidney Crosby, who...
I thought you were about to say Cole Caulfield for a sec. And I was going to get incredulous for multiple reasons. Yeah, no, Crosby's a good call. To go back quickly to Pastrnak, I can't remember if he actually did break the record, but he was close to setting an NHL record for most consecutive goals where he factored in on, whether by scoring it or getting an assist. I think he registered on 15 straight Bruins goals for a stretch there.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, he's carried that team maybe to mediocrity, but he's the only reason they are not Chicago or San Jose tier.
Yeah, I think Hughes is right. I think Werenski, if you're going to look at another defender, gets a glance. I think Dostal gets a look.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Karel Vejmelka also had a really good year.
Yeah,
but
I would if you're going to argue a goalie, I would argue Dustin Wolf. Although Calgary is not officially eliminated right now.
Well, let's just assume.
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs right now, so I would give it to Dustin Wolf.
Okay. There we go. That's how this is going to work. So the next real award up is. Do we want to skip the Lindsay? I think it's going to be one of the names here discussed. So
yeah, let's skip.
They're kind of interchangeable.
What about the Norris?
I mean, they're not supposed to be, but
Trevor,
the Norris.
You're allowed to be a homer. if you want.
No, as much as I'd like to, I do honestly agree that Hughes missing as much time as he did probably hurt it, even though it's abundantly clear that he was the most valuable player on his team. I don't think he was necessarily the best defenseman. I think it's probably gonna be Makar, and I think it probably should be, but I kind of deep down in my heart of hearts, me being a bit of a hater in that regard, I would like to see Werenski get a lot of love too, because he's definitely put Columbus on his back.
Yeah, I think Zach Werenski should be at least a finalist for the Norris. I'm going to be upset if he isn't.
I mean, I think he's the clear runner-up behind Makar, and it's not going to be close.
I don't know. It's possible that Hughes. I think Hughes will still get some votes, even though he did miss all that time.
I can guarantee you some Montreal homer writer is going to put in a vote for Lane Hudson somewhere, but I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't hate it. Like, I can see him getting some fifth place. So it's
give him some fifth place votes. That's fine. But someone like some Montreal homer is going to give him a second place Norris vote.
Okay, yeah. Who's that one guy who purposely left McDavid or gave him a fifth place vote in his unanimous?
Seth Rohrbach.
He's gonna give Hudson a first place. He's giving Makar a fifth.
Could be. All right. That one was pretty straightforward, but I mean, Makar does that. He makes that easy. Does anyone else have a new award to propose?
Yeah. I was originally... So my award is going to be the Pavel Bure Memorial Trophy. It was originally just going to be a stats-based one, basically who was the fastest player, thanks to NHL Edge. We can track, basically what the player's top speed was or, their amount of speed burst. But I might want to make it a little more subjective, and it's whoever had, or arguably, the most dynamic play or coolest play. Partially inspired by Gavin McKenna's ridiculously sick goal in the WHL playoffs yesterday. But let's celebrate cool moments in the game.
Coolest
how better?
Play.
And who better than one of the coolest players to ever watch lace up some skates in Pavel Bure?
Pavel Bure was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Who do you want to nominate?
I think there's only one player who can win the Pavel Bure this year. The grade 8 himself, Alexander Ovechkin.
That's true.
The great chase, I think, was such a fun thing to watch for most people, SJ. Just seeing him get closer, the sheer inhumanity of his capacity to score goals at age 39. And that last goal, I'm so glad it wasn't a shit goal. Just an absolute laser. Perfect Alexander Ovechkin goal. So yeah, give it to Alex Ovechkin.
We know it's from that left face-off dot, but it's usually near the head of it. The fact he whipped that from the back of the face-off dot, and just if you go back and listen to it, just you hear the perfect whoosh as that puck flies off. Just art.
Just an absolute laser. It was beautiful.
If we want to include all NHL things, related things, even if it wasn't necessarily NHL teams, you can make an argument then for Connor McDavid's overtime winner in the Four Nations face-off.
I would rather not.
I would say that moment transcends sport into politics right now. So, yeah. I mean, for me, the player who sparked the most joy this year was Patrick Laine, just scoring power play goal after power play goal. That was incredible.
Yeah. And also, it's I wish I could remember right now, but I'm sure there's been some absolutely disgusting end to end goals, spinoramas or stuff like that too, that we just can't remember right now. But definitely could that could be an award to just remember. We've seen McDavid when he goes 1-on-4, breaking through breaking everyone's ankles, going through the neutral zone.
Yep.
Not the hotel, thankfully. We don't like ice skates on our floors.
That's right.
They're a bitch to get out of the linoleum.
Put your guards on before you walk through the hotel, folks.
But yeah, goals or moments like that. the Ovechkin one for sure would be something like that. But yeah,
But overall, I think
moments.
If it's got to be the player for the whole year, SJ, what do you think?
For most dynamic play, I don't know. let's go like way back in time. And I feel like there was this goal that Macklin Celebrini scored in like his first or second game or something that was incredible. And
He is so cool.
I was really impressed. And then he got injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this must have been his like first game. And
first game.
Wow.
I think the Macklin Celebrini coming out party and everyone just kind of going, oh, he is that good. The Sharks are going to be loaded, huh? Like just sort of that collective like between him, Smith, Eklund, they're really stacked up front, and they've got so much more help coming. So they're going to pick high this year. They're going to pick at least third. Yeah. So they're going to get Schaefer, Hagens, or that Swedish guy whose name I've forgotten.
In the potentially eternal Bedard versus Celebrini debate, Celebrini does have one up on him already, at least in terms of their hometown. Because he beat Bedard to scoring against the Canucks, and holy smokes, was it a gorgeous shot.
I saw Cole Caulfield completely undress him in an overtime. That was really cool.
Sure that was great.
Well, he's young. That'll happen.
All right. So that is our second award that should be but isn't. So what about, I mean, do we have any argument for the Vezina? Who do we think the runners up to the Vezina should be?
Oh boy. Dustin Wolf should probably get some love, in all honesty.
I think it's going to be Kemper. Kemper has really come on, and probably Vasilevsky, but I think it should be Montembeault over Vasilevsky.
With how things are nowadays, like it's a lot of teams are employing like the 1A, 1B, so it's really hard to kind of find like one or two goalies to really focus on in that sense.
Do I still have that open? I mean, kind of, but like Hellebuck 62, Kemper 50, Montembeault 61, Vasilevsky 63, Wolf 52, Shesterkin 60, Decord 56, Vejmelka 57, Ottinger 57, Dostal 53, Sorokin 60, like Aiden Hill 50, Philip Gustafson 57, Borowski 54, Lankinen 50, and that's accidental. I mean, Binnington played 55, so I mean, yes, but also I think there have been more like reliance on goaltenders this year than we've seen in previous years.
Yeah, you know, if we could do it by committee, you could give it to the Ottawa goaltenders because they lead the league in shutouts.
Oh well,
somehow
you can't, but you used to be able to. But that was it was a completely different trophy.
Yeah, that's back when the Vezina was what we now just call the Jennings. And to be fair, if Allmark didn't get hurt, I could see him getting some love for basically helping turn around the fortunes of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah,
Allmark had a really good year. A little, but when he's on, oh boy, has he been great.
You know who I think is going to get some votes if they do end up making the playoffs is Binnington.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, over the year, I don't think he's been like particularly good, but he got hot right after Four Nations, and if they make it into the playoffs, I think he'll get some votes.
Sure, but he shouldn't.
You know what? Sorry, I'm just quickly looking up goalie stats.
But here's the thing: the Vezina is voted on by the GMs.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, because it could be very fun, because there's one other stat that Dustin Wolf is currently tied for first in amongst goalies. Does anyone want to take a guess at what that might be?
Shots against?
Points.
Oh, good for him.
He currently is tied for first with 3 points, with 3 assists, with Pyotr Kochetkov of Carolina, and 2 names that should be familiar for other reasons, Alex Nedeljkovic and Ilya Sorokin.
Yeah.
Both of which have goals this year to go with 2 assists.
That gives me an idea for another fake award.
Please.
Most fun goalie to watch.
Okay, but who are we naming? Like, what's the actual name of the award?
The Mike Smith Award.
Oh, it absolutely is.
That's not where I thought that might be going, but I love it. I appreciate that so much.
My inaugural Mike Smith Award would definitely go to Pyotr Kochetkov. Anything can happen when that man is in it.
You know what? by that logic, I have another good candidate as well. I'm gonna nominate Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah.
Man loves to break a stick over our goalposts.
Oh, he does. I think my pick would be Dustin Wolf, just because I like short kings jumping around the net. It's fun to watch. It reminds me when goaltenders were athletic back in the 80s. Honestly, when a goaltender has to move to make a save, it makes me think of Dominic Hasek and Patrick Waugh, and that just makes me happy.
Yeah.
All right. The Masterton. I always think of it wrong, but it's bad. It's Masterton. So I posted the link if you want to look at it.
All right, let's look at the nominations. So this is kind of an odd award because each team nominates somebody to the award.
Right.
I do think that there is only one obvious pick for this award.
I think it depends.
Do we all want to say the name on
I'm interested in the...
Oh, dear.
If Landeskog makes it back, or they announce he's going to play in the playoffs, he gets it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
If not...
John, I hope you have fun with this. My internet's crapping out right now, so they might have lost me for a sec.
You're fine. We didn't lose you. I do want to say the Masterton Memorial Trophy is awarded to the player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to ice hockey. And generally, the writers have taken this award to mean the player who, with the most terrible stuff that has happened to them this year, that still managed to do their job. Like
the year Phil Kessel had a testicle removed.
I definitely would also like to call out, in that sense, David Perron.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Who, I think he's a very worthy entrant to this one.
Yeah. I think that he is actually likely to be on the top three.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just pull back the curtain a bit. I had a momentary lapse with the internet. Sorry. Who aside? I'm assuming Gabe Landeskog number one with a bullet. And I came back for Perron. Who would be number two on that list?
He's possible for number two. Yeah.
No. Who else did you say would be like?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Three? Oh, okay. Then I can throw out a third. This could be once again a homer pick, but shout outs to Dakota Joshua for getting testicular cancer over the offseason, getting it checked, getting it removed, and still coming back to play, 60 plus games for the Canucks this season.
Worked for Phil Kessel, like I said earlier.
Yep.
I actually made the Phil Kessel joke so you could lead into Joshua, but then you were.
Yeah, and then I was just probably frozen. I kind of would like to see Monahan get some love as well, because injury-wise, he's been fine, but the absolute mental hardship he had to go through in the offseason to not only come back the way he did, but also a point plus per game, which he really hasn't done in his whole career, so, with one exception that I'm seeing in 18-19. Just he's probably one of the best feel-good stories of the year, and it's unfortunate that Landeskog is where he is, but Monahan deserves some love.
Yeah, I think all of those guys are worthy winners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I think Landeskog he's a star player, and hockey writers love a late season return. Carey Price won it for a late season return before he quit hockey forever.
One thing, I think that do they vote on the Masterton before the playoffs?
All votes are in between the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs.
I wonder if some people may not vote for Landeskog because it's very unlikely he plays any regular season games.
I mean, this year anyway. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Aren't they playing their last game tonight?
No, they're already done.
Yeah, aren't they done? They're done.
They're the only team as of recording that are done their regular season.
But if they announce he's come up, and they expect him to show up before votes go in, that may change it. So
They have already said, like, yeah, he's out of his conditioning stint, and
Yes.
there's a chance he'll be in the lineup for game one.
So we'll see. Like I said, we'll
Yeah.
see. It's going to be interesting. Okay, I have another fake one I'd like to add. This one
All right.
is the Pissy Dreisaitl Award. This is for the most controversial and or dumb journalist, interview question, think piece, whatever it is you want. The thing that makes you roll your eyes the most from a journalist.
Is this inspired by something you alluded to earlier today?
Why is
Chance?
Why
Yeah.
isn't this the Jim Matheson Award?
Because I think Pissy Leon Draisaitl is funnier than Jim Matheson.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Was Matheson the one who asked Draisaitl, like, why are you being so pissy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, if we were to retro this, like, we would give it to Jim Matheson. Obviously, we give it to Mark Spector about 4 times, most notably for the 200 hockey men comment.
I'm sure
But-
Larry Brooks would get a couple.
I think Dom Lucian would have gotten at least one by now, probably for something he tweeted. SJ rolled their eyes, and it made me laugh a little. But yeah, I mean, Chris Johnson's really, really bad article about the Masters today is the inspiration for this, and also my nominee.
That
I didn't
Yeah.
read it.
It's like if LinkedIn and Hockey Pill Brain like had a baby. It's
The very funny thing about it is the premise is Rory McIlroy had to push through all this adversity, and all these times he failed to win the Masters, and he finally was able to gut through and win the Masters, ignoring the fact that this is his 4th Masters win.
He's won 4 times?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Well, now I gotta look it up. I pay 0 attention to golf.
nor should you. Golf sucks. Golf's boring. I mean, you all can
no.
come at me on like Discard or whatever. Go ahead.
No, it says,
I don't
sorry,
care.
he'd won 4 other majors. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
So this is his first Masters.
But, like, come on.
Okay.
Come on.
So he at least had never won this particular tournament.
Yeah, but, like, the whole point of a Masters is the major. They're, like, they're the tops.
Buddy, I don't know. I don't know golf.
The point is, it's very clear that the guy just wanted to write a golf column, but unfortunately woke up as a hockey journalist.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It happens. It happens
The worst
to the best
The worst
of them.
part too is when you said pissy. I thought if we wanted to do just awards for whether like if it's going to be specifically bad quotes, it's one thing. I thought if we wanted to do just like funny quotes in general, because I'm sure there's some doozies we could retroactively award.
Oh, I mean, I want to give Elliot Friedman one for the time he called Sheldon Keefe a cuck, even though that's not in the regular season. I think that he deserves an emergency one for that.
The late Jason Botchford for the what we now dub the Joe Thornton hat trick.
Yeah, that's a really good one. The other one this year is that Josh Yohe article we did the dramatic reading of.
Oh yeah,
God.
That
you
one
could give
was
this to Josh Yohe every year.
I mean, like, honestly, we may end up having to like give him 3 and then just like put him into a Hall of Fame. And just say you're not eligible anymore, Josh. All right. That one, dumbest moment from the press. That's what I want to say on my sheet here. I have Selke, but we're running out of time and it's just going to be Barkov, so I don't want to talk about it.
That's
So,
fine.
Calder, Lane Hudson.
Sure. It's probably Lane Hudson. Hudson or Celebrini. Probably Hudson.
Hudson, Celebrini, Michkov.
it's been a very fun Calder race up until like the last month or so. I mean, Dustin Wolf could also probably get some love as well. Like, there's 4 really solid picks. It's just unfortunate. Well, unfortunate for some, not so much for others, Benjamin, that Lane Hudson decided to take a complete giant leap over everyone else in this last stretch, especially while doing it while playing important hockey. So for Habs fans, and honestly for us fans in general, we love to see it.
42nd best player under 23, according to Corey Pronman. So probably not that big of a deal.
That sounds like a nomination for the... Oh, sorry, did you say second or 42nd?
42nd.
That sounds like potentially a nomination for that award that you just came up with about 5 minutes ago.
Honestly, I'm trying not to be too much of a homer about it. Okay, so we agree it's Hudson.
You know, you're allowed to be a homer on this podcast. I'm pretty sure I've done that a bajillion times at this point.
Does anyone else have another fake award they want to throw in?
No, I think my creative juices are tapped out at the moment. I'm sure I'll come up with another one like an hour later, but for now I am tapped.
SJ?
Yep, I think we're good.
All right. One last official NHL award, and then we'll bring this segment to a close.
Right.
The most important award. So I want you to pretend you are a host of multiple intermissions. You are you give bad commentary on ESPN or TNT, wherever it is.
Yes,
you have and may in the future represent the Lay's Potato Chip Company into commercials. And you are loved in New York and Edmonton, but hated in Vancouver. Who are you spending your single vote on for the Mark Messier Leadership Trophy?
SJ, do you have your pick ready? If you don't, I already have mine, so I can snipe this.
Go.
All right. As Mark Messier, I'm going to reach into my bag of Lays, and you know what? I want to look at the roster of my favorite team. Did I pick from them last year? You bet I did. But you know what? I want to go back to that well, because there's one player on that team that I look at, and I look at a young Mark Messier and a current Mark Messier, just maybe with a little bit better hair. His last name starts with an M. There are two consonants that are the same right beside each other. His last name ends in ER. He's on his second stint with the New York Rangers with a stop in Vancouver where he got chased out of. Your Mark Messier Leadership Award winner, J.T. Miller.
God.
I mean, I can see it.
Oh, yeah, 100%, right? That's the best part. It's completely plausible.
Just, gross.
Speaking of pissy folks, yeah, Mr. Pissant himself.
He gave to Jacob Trouba last year, and that's deeply funny.
It is so bad. I would like to nominate Nick Suzuki.
I think if this is a real award for who's the best captain in the NHL, Nick Suzuki would be on the list for the way he picked the Habs up after the break.
I've decided to interpret it as a real award instead of whatever Mark Messier is doing. Because
that's completely fair.
I don't think that having a leadership award is a bad idea. Like they could have it, a leadership award. It should probably be voted on by the writers, not one guy. Why is this an official NHL award? It's one man.
But Mark Messier is the greatest leader in all of hockey history.
The other one would be Ovechkin. Would be my other.
Yeah, I think Ovechkin.
I bet Ovechkin might even get it.
I think it might be Ovechkin.
Like a lifetime achievement award.
So yeah, those are he's
never won it
for this stupid fake award.
Yeah, he's never won it, so why not, right?
Give it to him.
I mean, he's no Derek Engelland or Wayne Simmons, but Ovechkin might deserve one.
I heard that Alex Ovechkin hung out at a college bar with Ryan Leonard to meet his friends when Ryan Leonard showed up to the team and asked him to do so.
That's fucking bullshit.
He's cool.
He was like, my friends really want to meet you. Can you come to this college bar? And he was like, yes.
I mean, I can see it though.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Ovechkin, you seem awesome. Way to go. Just don't ever talk about politics.
Yeah. I will, to make one more quick joke, if I'm Mark Messier, why would I ever want to give it to a guy who broke the record of one of my greatest teammates and best friends?
Who knows?
It's a good thing I'm not Mark Messier.
Well, there you go. Hey, folks, if you have an idea for a fake award, let us know, because if we get enough good ones, we might create a neutralzonehotel.com awards show. I don't know what it would look like, but we would love to hear. Maybe that's something we'll do next season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that is the end of Logan Couture's career. So the longtime San Jose Shark. Really, really great career. I had him open in a Wikipedia tab, and I closed it so I could look up Rory McIlroy.
You're allowed to have more than one tab open at a time.
Yeah, but I use the same tab, so I did click back. Yeah, 933 games, 701 points. No real awards. He was a finalist for Calder. He was 2-time NHL. Goes to the All-Star game. I don't know what you call that. He won a World Cup with Canada. Yeah, he's a pretty good player. But what I wanted to do is congratulate him on a career, and then I wanted to give you my team, because obviously he's retiring, but he's not. He didn't say the words retired in the news conference. He said, my injury will no longer allow me to play, which, as you know, means he's going to Robidas Island on LTIR until his contract is up. And frankly, the Sharks need his contract to hit the floor. So,
Robidas Island, I've heard that's a really nice place.
Well,
pretty great.
I am going to talk to
massages.
you. I'm going to talk to you today about Team Robidas Island. I'm going to give you my pick for the 23 players who would be on a hockey team. If we could build a hockey team from Robidas Island, who is on that team? And just throw out any thoughts.
Right now?
No.
Only people
all time. So it's
okay.
Great players who ended up on LTIR at the end of their career. They had to be on LTIR for a season or longer. And I disqualified players like Datsuk, who went on, my ankle hurts, I can just go play in Russia, and ended up on LTIR on his final contract. Same with Ilya Kovalchuk and that. Mm-hmm. So my first line.
That seems like that would be against the rules.
It probably was, but nobody wanted to argue it because Arizona needed to get to the cap floor.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found that really interesting too, and I just went, I guess nobody.
When was this?
2016.
Interesting.
Yeah, really interesting. So my first line, we're doing a little bit of Red Wings here. Johan Franzen, the Mule.
The Mule.
Henrik Zetterberg. And Jakub Voracek. Which I think, if you go primes, that's a really good line.
Yeah, for sure.
Voracek.
Two good setup men, and then just a guy to stand in front of the net to bang in rebounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
Right there.
S.J. Franzen is the guy that got bullied out of Detroit by
I know.
Chucklefuck.
Yeah, that was that was our first test episode. That was the nickname game.
That's right. Forward line 2, Logan Couture, recently retired. Nick Backstrom, longtime wheelman for Alexander Ovechkin, and on his wing, Marian Hossa, who, as we know, his skin all fell off or something.
Mm-hmm.
He has a skin condition that makes it painful to wear hockey gear. And his contract was only worth $1 million, so it wasn't worth it to play anymore. So he also ended up in Arizona, I think. Huh. Trevor, you have any guesses of who might be on the next line?
Oh boy. Oh man, I gotta roll through my head who would because I can name probably your top pair for sure.
I know you know who the top pair is. We'll do that in a minute.
Oh, I 100% know who the top pair is. I feel like the way you're hinting at me, it feels like I should know who it is.
No,
and I can't
there's no Canucks connection here. Okay. Not on this line.
Then no. Oh, okay.
All right.
No, that I can think of right now.
Andrew Ladd, who was a really good player when he was with Chicago. Mark Savard, who lost his career to a Matt Cook headshot. And Nathan Horton, who had to retire early due to degenerative disc disease in his back just after winning the Stanley Cup and getting a big free agent deal in Columbus.
Oh.
Yeah, really, he was a really good player. All right, who's centering my fourth line? Who's taking all those defensive zone face-offs, Trevor?
As soon as he said it there, I knew. Yeah, Ryan Kessler is going to be centering your fourth line.
No, it's not Ryan Kessler.
Really not?
No.
Oh, interesting.
I have Kessler as my 13th forward.
Okay. You keep setting me up. As soon as you said that there wouldn't be a Canucks connection until there, I'm like, okay, so it's Kessler. Wow, I'm just dropping the ball now, huh?
Manny Malhotra will center.
Oh, yeah.
Carl Hagelin and Nolan Patrick.
Oh, man, what a tale of what could have been there. Good call.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Ryan Kessler would be the wheel forward you can move around. All right, Trevor, tell me, who's my top defensive pair?
Does it happen to be Hall of Famer and former Montreal Canadiens captain Shea Weber?
Yep.
With Chris Pronger?
Sure do. They even are opposite hands. Like,
oh, works out perfectly.
Could you imagine having to try to skate through those two guys? Just beasts.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Well, unless you're Ryan Kessler, then you can at least do half of that.
That's right. Who's your, just tell Chris Pronger, look, an attractive reporter, and go past him.
I mean, there's
that's a
obviously
deep
a
cut.
story there, but we can take it offline.
I know, I'm going to tell you then. So Chris Pronger signed his big free agent deal with the the Oilers, played one season, dragged them to the Stanley Cup Finals, then got traded to the Ducks in the offseason. Quite a shocker. The rumor is that he had extramarital affairs with a attractive reporter, and his wife insisted they change cities, so he had to ask for a trade.
Oh boy.
And then the Ducks won the cup the next year. Can you guess who my shutdown pairing is, Trevor?
Oh, that wasn't your shutdown pairing?
No,
Oh, dear.
That's the offensive powerhouse. That's big bad slap shots from the point.
Well, I mean, half that, yeah. This is where it's going to falter. I was banking on those two. I'm going to kick myself afterwards, but no, I cannot name them right now.
From the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, which one would that be?
Keith retired. He never went on LTIR.
Yeah, so it's probably then Seabrook then, right?
And from the Toronto Maple Leafs. The guy they got Chris Tanev to replace.
Oh, didn't they trade? No, they traded him to
Jake Muzzin.
Jake Muzzin. Yes.
Oh, right. I forgot that Muzzin existed.
He was a really good shutdown D. And on D3, I have Ryan Ellis, and
oh yeah, the human rocket ship.
And
he scores goals on the moon.
And Oscar Clefbaum.
Oh yeah,
they thought he was going to be the big D, and then he got hurt. And of course, the replacement is Stefan Robidas because it's his island.
Yep.
Now, can you guess my three goaltenders?
Carey Price, and Carey Price.
Well, I didn't include a cloning system. If I did, we would have already cloned Carey Price, and there'd be a new version with an improved with a fixed knee back in net right now.
All right, so there's one at least. Can you give me, or can you give us, I'd rather, the teams that they were best known for?
So one is going to be the Sabres and the Knights. And the Senators, I guess, was where he started. Where did he go? Sabres, then Senators? I don't remember.
Oh, so Robin Lehner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other one is best known for the Lightning and the Stars.
Holtby?
Why do I want to say it's Anton Hudobin?
It's definitely not Anton Hudobin. Ben Bishop.
Oh, Ben Bishop. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dang it. Yeah.
Yeah, put up a 920 and then just his knees collapsed.
Funnily enough, both those goalies started their careers in Ottawa.
Yeah, they did. Bishop and Leonard. See, Ottawa does this thing where they get good goalies and then get rid of them before, and then they become great somewhere else.
Yeah, SJ, I'm sure you can tell us how that feels.
Joey Daccord.
Joey Daccord is a good goalie, and he took a really long time to develop.
You know what? For a long time there, Ottawa would have taken a pretty good goalie.
Yeah.
Yes, someone had to replace the corpse of Craig Anderson.
Remember when they signed Eunice Corpusalo?
Daccord
Remember when they traded for Matt Murray? Whoa.
Daccord played like 2 years in the AHL after expansion.
I know.
So I'm not really like mad. I don't think that Ottawa fans should be particularly mad about it.
I know.
It's just, it's a what could have been, which is like par for the course for that franchise. They draft good goalies and get rid of them, and then they hire coaches just to have them never coach anywhere else ever again.
So, folks, tell me who would be on your team LTIR, which player that you fondly remember taking team funds as they wound down their career on Robidas Island, enjoying the beach view and the personal massages and probably a fruity cocktail. I don't know. I imagine there's probably some of that.
And a job in the NHL front office.
Some NHL front office somewhere. Show up and give you a job. So let us know. You can check us out online at neutralzonehotel.com, at Neutral Hotel on YouTube, Instagram, and Bluesky. Join our Discord, neutralzonehotel.com/Discord. And yeah, you know what? Thanks to our friend Emily Mowbray for designing our really cool logo. If you are listening to this on a podcast, give us 5 stars. If you're on YouTube, thumbs up, smash the like button. Hit subscribe. You know what to do. And hey, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. We will see you again soon.
No one asked me, but I'd like to propose the Olli Jokinen Leadership Award, which is given to the captain traded from a team that's going to miss the playoffs to another team that's going to miss the playoffs. In honor of that time, Olli Jokinen revolted against his coach and general manager, Jacques Martin, and got himself traded from the Florida Panthers to the Phoenix Coyotes. This year's recipient of the Olli Jokinen Leadership Award is Jacob Trouba.